All right. Okay. So the SSM VMS that we are covering today is version 2.1. This is the latest uh, version of our VMS. We have a previous version. Maybe some of you have experience with the previous version. However, the previous version like 1.6 or 2.0 is entirely different because the architecture itself was very different back then. Over 5, 6 years back, we had a very traditional architecture, database server, recording server, client separately, media server. So it was like an old school. Today we have the most revised architecture for a VMS. In fact, many of the brands have the similar architecture, and the big brands like Milestone Genetech, they, from what I know, Milestone is also planning to have some versions in this architecture. It's not easy to change architecture because you have a long list of integrations that you have done in the last 10 years. And when you change the architecture, you have to redo all the integration. So some of the VMS is well known for their integration, so they cannot simply change. So the big ones will take some time. So the other ones have already migrated to the new architecture. All right. Now, regarding the VMS, here we go. Okay. Regarding the VMS, you will find details about it under products surveillance software. Okay. Surveillance software. Once you go here, again, you have 2.1 SSM and 1.6. Do not go to 1.6. It is obsolete. We have many sites running 1.6. So whenever we have an update, we post it here. For you, when you're proposing new project, when you're looking for information, do not touch 1.6, go to 2.1. This is what is currently available. Right. Okay. So when we talk about VMS, it is not right to just go through PowerPoint. So I don't use PowerPoint, especially for the VMS part. I directly demonstrate the features that are available. After that, we will go to the PowerPoint purely on the to summarize and then do a design. Okay, simulated design, how many licenses to take. Only for those topics, we will go back to the PowerPoint. Now let's start with the VMS itself. So right now, I'm, let me log in again. Okay, so I am now logging in to a system where my VMS is installed. And the VMS, in short, it's SSM. SSM means Smart Security Manager. Previously, it was called Samsung Security Manager. Once Hanwha acquired Samsung, then we have renamed it to Smart Security Manager. Okay. So, what constitutes the SSM VMS as a minimum? There are two applications that that is responsible or that is required as a minimum to have SSM VMS. One is SSM Manager, Service Manager, and then you have SSM Console. All right, Service Manager and Console. The manager application is entirely responsible for the database. It is entirely responsible for the recording. What makes a VMS? Database and recording, right? Uh, s- here we go. Just to understand, I have covered this in my other trainings, in usually the fundamental trainings. But what is a NVR? Yesterday we covered about NVR. NVR also has database. NVR also has recording. You have hard disk slot. Behind the NVR, you have HDMI VGA port. So client. So what is an NVR? It has all three functions in one device. What's the difference in VMS? VMS also has a database, but you give dedicated server or a different hardware for it. Recording. Again, you have different recording servers. So basically, you're stripping the function of each component. Database separate, recording server separate, client separate. What is the objective? When you separate it, instead of 64 channel in NVR, in VMS, now you can go to 200, 300 channel. With NVRs, we can go up to 3000 channel. Or generally speaking, the sorry, not the 64 channel. Okay, the database can go up to 2000 cameras, 3000 cameras, 10,000 cameras, because you have a dedicated hardware processing the database. Similarly, for recording, before the NVR is doing database and recording and client, everything all in one. So the recording is only for 64 channel. Now, when you separate the recording function to a dedicated hardware, you can go to 128 channel, you can go to 300 channel. So depending on the hardware capability. When it comes to client, behind the NVR, there are two HDMI port or one VGA, one HDMI. But now when you have a separate client PC, you can now achieve 4 monitor per PC. You can put more graphics card and have multiple monitors and so on. Right? Both are same except VMS. You just improve its capability by providing more hardware. Okay. Now back to our VMS. Uh, Okay. In our VMS, we have two functions or two applications, the service manager and client console. The service manager is running the database. The database is called system manager. The media server is called the recording function. All right. Um, that is, if you remember, I mentioned a new architecture concept. The new architecture concept, what it does is, instead of providing a dedicated database server for just for the database or a dedicated server for the recording, the new architecture combines both. So in new architecture, database and recording, dedicated hardware, client PC separate, dedicated client PC, that's different. So in the new architecture, database and recording is being combined. Okay. And the one of the main reason is, even we had this concept separate database server in 1.6 version. In the new version, we merged. Majority of the projects are roughly within the 2000 or 3000, category. And in order to achieve 2000, 3000, database, the I mean, the new SQL supports uh, such large number of data. That is one, it's free to use. Secondly, the free version of SQL also supports clustering or combining multiple servers database together as one single big large database. So that those kind of small enhancements that were done from the database part. So many of them have now are making use of that. All right. So what's the benefit for most of the projects within that 3000 kind of limit? Uh, you can use. You don't have to buy a dedicated SQL license because the database is coming built in within the software. Now, I feel like I'm just going too much into that database and other things. Let me just go back to the actual topic. So simply put, in the new architecture, database and recording is belonging to the same hardware. We don't need a separate hardware for database. We don't need a separate hardware for recording function. Previously, it was required. Nowadays, in the new architecture, it is not required. what is the benefit is if you need failover n plus 1, in the old architecture, you need two database servers and two recording servers. However, in the new architecture, you need plus one. All right. So here, one, two, three, four servers are required if you need a failover. Whereas in the new architecture, since database and recording is in the same server, you need only total of two. Here, total of two. Here, you need one plus one, two, then one plus one, two. So total four servers. So this is getting quite popular today. You'll find Digiford, you'll find Cathexis, and you'll find Wave, New Optics, Network Optics. So many of them, even some, there's a version from what I heard in Milestone also, they have this. So many of them have now migrated to this architecture. Okay, done. Now, System Manager and Media Server, this is your application, database and recording, done. Now, here in the SSM VMS, you have option to split the traffic. Just like your NVR, camera recording can come from a certain network, your clients can be on a different network. It's called send to client. Your clients can be on different network. Your recording from the cameras or receiving the traffic from the NVR can be a different network. All right. Um, Now, the next application is console. What did you get so far is in the management application, only two services are running. No way to add camera in the manager application. There is no other function here, no layout creation. None of the functions are available here. Every function is done through the console application. Do not think console is the client interface. Console, it will change its mode depending on the way you log in. If I log in as administrator, the console becomes an administrator console. If I log in as an operator, it becomes an operator console. Right now, I have logged in to the console as an administrator. So because once I log in as administrator, I get access to an option here called configuration. If I log in as operator, this configuration will not be visible. It will be disabled, right? So here, once I go to configuration, I have here two servers. Let's start with one. So I have server one and there are some cameras already connected to it. All right. So now, okay. So, all right. So let's say here I can add my cameras to the VMS application. So let's say I add one to just like the NVR. Here you have installed the SSM on a Windows server. All right, this is a Windows server. I have installed SSM on it. Now, because I have installed SSM on it, now it became a recording machine. It became a VMS machine. And once I log into the software, I can now add cameras to that particular machine and start recording. So here I'm selecting a few cameras, enter the username and password and register, right? You can also add to the SSM or SSM VMS also supports on-with devices. It also supports same like the NVR. You can also add RTSP, RTSP stream. Then you can also add DDNS. Using DDNS ID, product ID, you can also add, if a device is connected to the internet, your camera is connected to the internet, you can connect it to VoiceNet DDNS, and there's no license or required. Just use a product ID, username and password, and you can log in to that camera. Okay, done. Now, this is your SSM interface. Let me just start with the monitoring. So here I have got cameras listed. All right. Okay, doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. All right, let's take this one here. Okay, So you saw how to drag and drop. It's as simple as just drag and drop, or you can drag multiple cameras and drop. That's okay. Then you can play back the video streams by clicking on the playback button. Then you can start playing back. You can play back as high as 128 times, or you can rewind as fast as 128 times. Okay. Some of the cameras are not being recorded. That's why you have this. You see blank. I am not recording all the cameras because I have little storage in my office. So if you see here, y- you can find the cameras which are recording are having a red color dot. The remaining cameras I have added just for live view purpose, right? So the ones which are on the red color dot which have recording, you can play back the video. Right now, let's say this is called as synchronized video. Synchronized video means all of them will play at the same time. I think you know all this. However, I will just use these words which are typically found in specifications. Okay. So synchronized playback means all the cameras will play back at the same time, and you can also play back some individually cameras on a different timeline also. So let's say, let me start over. So I can play back individually, or I can play back both at the same time. So it's called sync. Okay. You break the link, then each of them will have its own separate timeline. Otherwise, you can sync them both, then both of them will have a unified timeline. So if you go at 11 o'clock, both will be playing at exactly same time. You can see 10, 59, 16, 16, and so on. Right. So this is called sync to playback. You can play back as much as 120, 32 cameras. You can have a synced playback. Okay. So the maximum layout that is supported is 132. All right. Then in our VMS, there is an option called auto layout. Auto layout means depending on the number of cameras that you're seeing, the layout will automatically adjust. So if I have 3 cameras, 4 cameras, and the moment I go to the 5th camera, it will change to 3 by 3 layout. So this is called auto function. So it's easy for operators not to keep changing the layout. It will change by itself. All right. That in case if your operator requires a customized layout, you can create your own layout here by specifying the name, let's say 2 by 2, and you can draw 2 by 2, you can create. All right. If you want to merge the top layer, you can merge it. You can make your own layer for 3 cameras. Okay, so it is quite flexible VMS. If you want to merge the top area or the center area, if you want to merge, you can have your own merged layout and it will be saved here. Okay, done. Now the reason for going through this feature is purely for you to understand whether these features may be required for your project and how you can use it for your benefit in your designs and so on. Sometimes, is my audio clear, by the way? If it's not clear, please just let me know. I can see what I can do. Change my Wi-Fi connection or something. Okay. All right. Now, the reason why I covered this point is, let's say you are designing monitors for the control room. For some reason, you have 26 cameras, and your layout, maybe whatever VMS you're buying, only has 5 by 5 layout. What will you do? Will you put another monitor just for one camera, right? So there you can make use of these features and get your 26 cameras. You can probably make 6 by 6 or 6 by 530, and then merge maybe these cameras, something like that, and try to get your 26 camera layout. So you can find ways to compensate, certain customized requirements. All right. Next is uh, the VMS supports a function called dynamic switching, multi-profile, dynamic switching. So right now, if I right click, you'll find my camera resolution is 5 megapixel. But the moment I go back to 4 by 4 view, it goes to 640 by 480. Right. So this is a very nice way of managing the CPU load. In fact, in our VMS using i7, 16 GB RAM and maybe 4 GB graphics card, you can see 128 cameras. You can ask any VMS which does not have this feature. It's called dynamic switching of resolution. What is the maximum cameras you can see? 25 or 32? That's it. You cannot go beyond this. Right, the reason why this dynamic resolution, it's actually a very popular feature in today's generation. The reason is we still buy i7, right? For the last 6 7 years we're still buying i7. And okay, and but the camera resolution, 10 years back, 8 years back, 6 years back, people are okay with 1 megapixel. They were okay with probably 2 megapixel. But today, very commonly, you will find 5 megapixel cameras. You will find commonly 4 mega, 6 mega, 4K cameras are nowadays very common. And not only that, the number of cameras have increased drastically. So you are now forced to have so many more monitors just to show the cameras. All right, to compensate or to address that requirement, these kind of features, the dynamic switching of resolution makes it very easy. What is the benefit of this? Even if you see multiple cameras, let me pull out some cameras here. All right. Even if you pull out multiple cameras, your CPU usage will not increase. So we have tested it actually with just i7 16 GB RAM, Intel built-in graphics card. We have tested for up to 128 cameras you can see in one workstation, even without a graphics card. So that is the capability when you use this. Not only that, you can go to higher layouts. I mean, basically you can see more cameras in one monitor. Okay. And second thing, you don't have to invest in expensive processors. All right. In case, if you are not able to switch, right? Imagine if my VMS continues to show 2 megapixel in each of the tiles. Just imagine this. If my VMS continues to show 2 megapixel in each of the tiles, technically your computer is watching or decoding, let's say 9 full HD movies, or if it is 4K, 4K movies. It is with i7, it is literally impossible. If you want to show 25, 30 cameras of full HD, it is literally impossible. What you have to do in that case, you have to buy i7 is what? 4-core PC, right? 4-core system. So if you go to, if any brand of VMS is having this limitation, they cannot switch the resolution when you change the layout. They will force you to go with very high graphics card plus 6-core PCs, Xeon PCs, or 8-core PCs. So the price of your workstation will be almost double compared to a 4-core PC. So the control room can be more expensive at the end of the day, and we hardly keep any budget at the control room. Most of you, when you do design, um, some things you cannot control, right? When you buy camera and servers, they cannot go below beyond a certain discount. But we take workstations very lightly. We just take any i7 16 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM, and we expect server level performance. And we try to reduce the cost. Uh, Probably there is, I mean, people who all know about it have burned their fingers. They will not. But otherwise, if you are just starting out, if you're not having much experience, you might think, okay, i7 is okay, but it will cause a very big concern and a big headache, because the end user, he's not concerned about the server and the camera. He's at the end, he's only looking at the control room, right? And if the video stops playing, video is buffering, video is taking time, PC gets hanged. So this particular feature, you have to make sure it is there. um, okay, for us it is there. Even in other VMS, there are big ones, they have this feature, so you can also make use of this. Okay, now the reason why it is okay to show low resolution in this tile is because this particular tile size is actually 480 by 368. According to the VMS, from my screen, the entire screen itself is only 2 megapixel. Isn't that right? My entire monitor is 1920 horizontal. If I am showing 4 cameras, that is 1920 divided by 4. So what is that? Okay, right now I'm showing 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1920 divided by 4. That is like 480 pixels. If I show 4 by 4 layout, 1, 2, 3, 4, if I make it like this, each tile size is technically, in a full HD monitor, it is 480 pixels. So why to show 2000 pixels in that scenario? It is not required. Even if you show 2000 pixels, your screen can only display whatever is mentioned here. 480, or here it says 368 by 272. That is the output or the size of this tile. All right, done. Okay, so it is fine to use or switch. So in the configuration, we have a system here called live high, live low. Live high means when you show the camera on full screen, that is live high. When you show multi-tile, it is live low. Then we have a record normal. Record normal is another profile which you can select from the camera for recording. You can view H.264. You can again view H.264 low resolution for live low, but you can record H.265. The camera has got another profile H.265, so you can choose to record that. So here I choose to record H.265. All right, so the VMS is a multi-profile system. Just like the NVR, the VMS supports a separate profile for live view, separate for recording, separate for multi-view. Right, done. And you can adjust the resolution directly from the VMS, and it will get saved on the camera. If I apply, it gets saved on the camera. You don't have to go to the camera to adjust. Then, where is it being recorded? It is it is being recorded on your server. Right now, my SSM VMS is installed on the server. In the server, I have multiple hard disks, C, D, E, F. You can add any hard disk here. You can map a network drive. You can map a SAN drive. You can map any third party drive here, and that's it. Whatever drives you have connected to your server, you can use it and for your recording in the VMS. All right, it will display here, except the C drive. It's the operating system. You cannot record on that. Every other drive you map, it's a direct DAS or it's a SAN, you can start recording on that. Second, you can choose which camera to record in which drive. So if I have 3 drives, currently 17 cameras are recording here, 17 here, and 19 on the other one. You can choose that. Ideally, we put all the cameras in all the drive, so it will balance the storage for each camera. But in case you have some storage drive for some cameras for higher days, or basically if you want to group cameras, 50 camera C drive, 50 camera D drive, if you want to do it manually, you can customize that. You can choose which drive to record. Then you get an idea here how many days you can expect based on the current recording criteria and how many days you want to record. I have put the recording for just 1 day because it's not permitted to record actually for more than that. So I'm recording here 1 day. Um, it's a private area, it's our office, but you can expect with the current hard disk capability, I can expect up to 5 days of recording, right? That's it. Then recording schedule, you can create your own recording schedule. It's a little bit more complex than you think. Currently, I have a schedule called Always. According to the schedule name, if there is motion record, record it. If there is a alarm input, always record it. If there is a analytic event, record continuous record. You can create a new schedule and you can customize that. Let's say day. You can say day is from set and then you can say night or noon or working hours, working time from 7 to 6. And then you can set night. Okay, so you can now choose here when to record on motion during day, when to record continuously during the working hours. So you can customize your recording schedule. And not only that, this is your customized schedule. Then you can choose the schedule for each camera separately, right? So that is very deeply customizable. Uh, I have a question. You can, okay. Regarding the layouts, I will clarify that very soon. Can you take camera from HDD1 to HDD2? Um, so can I take camera from HDD1 to 2? Actually, I didn't get this fully. Uh, just tell me what you're trying to achieve so I can answer in that perspective. Okay. So the same cameras can be recording in all the drives, or you can have some cameras in. So here, 17 cameras, 17 camera, both are same cameras. For example, you see here fisheye. Okay. In D drive, you will again see fisheye. So I can assign the same camera to multiple drives. The SSM will only look for how long to record. Depending on the capacity, it will balance equally storage. Otherwise, it will check here each camera, depending on the number of days, it will record. Okay, so we have a profile system. Every camera, okay, so there is a question on how monitoring and recording is different profile. If you go to our camera, for example, let's say this guy, open setup page. One one four. Okay, if you take any of our camera, you will find multiple profiles. H264, H265, you can have live for NVR, SD card. So multi-profile is supported from our cameras. And because of that, you can choose, I want full resolution for live view. I need a live low for multi-view. I will use lower resolution. For recording, I will use H.265. So the camera should support multiple profiles. The VMS will just make use of it, right? Live low is automatically created by the camera. If it is our camera, our VMS knows how to create a new profile. So it will send a script and create a new profile for live low. H.265 is already there in the camera. You just choose. We always use H.265 for recording because you get the best storage. For live view, we use H.264 because it's easy to decode. You don't need a heavy processor to decode. But for recording, it's okay. You're just dumping the recording on the recorder, right? So we were talking about record, disk, recording schedule we covered. Recording encryption. In case your specification is requesting for encryption, we support encryption. Certificate based or built-in encryption, I believe 128-bit encryption. It is already natively available. You can just make use of that. Then event based recording. In case you're recording based on event, each camera you can customize. Before the video goes offline, the camera will keep a recording for up to 1 minute. Before the motion is detected, how long do you want to keep the recording? Before the or after the motion has been activated, how long you want to keep the recording? Same way, before analytics, before audio detection, before alarm input, and so on, you can customize each of these features. Okay, now let's go to, okay. Next is you can add external device. SSM supports external devices. What is the external device? Access control system, intrusion system, um, intercom system. So the latest integration list is this one. We have recently integrated to Kerry, Command Intercom, Honeywell WinPack, NetApp Access Control, Lenel OnGuard, Maxis, Gallagher. We already have integration with Stentaphone Access Control, Johnson Control Access Control, Siemens Access Control, then our own access control. It is you can integrate. So this all this integration is done through external device, Bosch intrusion system. So you can use the external device to add the external integration. All right. We charge license for it, only one time license, and you can integrate. It's one license and you can integrate to multiple system using that license. Maybe you have intercom and access control. Just with one license, you can integrate to both access control and intercom. So there's no limitation on that. Okay. Then some customers require relay contact integration. So for example, I'm not sure if you know about these modules, ADAM modules. Let's say you want to integrate to a BMS system, or and the BMS system, they want to receive the events from SSM. So you can choose. Let's say if there is any camera goes offline, you can connect this ADAM module to the BMS system and integrate. Or if you use SNMP, you can buy SNMP to BACnet translator, or IO to BACnet translator, and then you can integrate to BMS system. So this has been done, especially SNMP. There was a project already done in Dubai, um, where the BMS system wanted each and every event, motion detection, camera loss, recording function, hard disk, each and every event that the VMS is receiving, he wanted that. So through SNMP, we were able to send all the event data to BMS system. Then you can manage your camera. You can update your camera. That's okay. We'll just go to the main points. Site. You can group cameras by site. First floor, ground floor. You can have sub site. For example, under NVR, I can create another sub site. Under the sub site, I can create one more sub site. So you can create that as you require. Okay, done. And then when you are viewing it, you have an option here, display by site. So you will be able to see cameras by floor. You can search for the camera names. There is a search button. Depending on the camera name, you can search for the same. Okay. Next is layout. You can create predefined layouts. All right. There were two types of layout. One, on the spot, you're creating layout. Second, as you need, predefined, you create beforehand in the database. I created a layout 1, layout 2, layout 3, and layout 4 and 5. All right, this I am creating on the database, so any user can get access to this database. This is known as the universal database. I mean, universal layout or shared layout. When I go back to monitoring, at the bottom there is layout function. I can choose all these layout 1, layout 2, 3, which is saved in the database. And as a manager, system manager, you can tell which operator should get access. So I have here operator group. I can choose which layout he can access, which maps he can access, which cameras he can access. So I can customize all of this through SSM, whether he can get playback, whether he can export and all that. And then you can create maps. You can load maps. You can link one map to another map. So yesterday we saw this is the main map. When I click on the button, it will go to the office map. So I can link and make multiple maps. My VMS. I can have map with cameras on it or without cameras. For example, here I can have map with cameras on the side or just a free layout. Okay, how does it look? Mapping, double click. Was it linked? Okay. Oh, okay. It's opening up here itself. Okay, so it will link to another map. Actually, someone changed some settings without my knowledge. Okay, so anyhow, so you can link from one map to another map. That's all. Okay, then next, sequencing. What is sequencing? In case you have multiple cameras and you have limited number of monitor. Take a project where you have 1,000 cameras, but you have 6 monitors. How to display? So what you do in that case, if you have 1,000 cameras and 6 monitors, you dedicate 2 monitors for you know special cameras, critical cameras. The remaining 4 monitors you have, and you have to display, let's say, out of 1,000, you are using 2 monitors, 25 each. Let's say 950 cameras. You have to show in 4 monitors. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, you have to show 237 cameras per monitor, right? Okay, how to show 237 cameras? You can take a layout of 6 by 6, 36, and you can sequence 36, 36, 36, 36, and so on. So 237 divided by 36, within 7 sequence, you will be able to get or cover all 237 cameras. Actually, that's not a good design. You should not have more than 6 sequence, within 1 minute. That's the ideal design, but sometimes it's okay. So here, let's say I'm creating a sequence. I create layout 1, 2, 3. So I choose here, show layout 1. After 10 seconds, show layout 2. After 10 seconds, show layout 3. And each of the layout can be 5 by 5, 6 by 6 layout. And you just give it a name, and then you can play the sequence. So first it will play the main layout. Then after 10 seconds, it will switch to the second layout. Okay, so it pre-buffers. It does not take time to load. Before the 10 second, it will preload the new cameras. So there will be a smooth transition. Even when you're viewing over any desk remote, you can find it smooth enough, right? In real environment, it will be much more smoother. All right, so this is sequencing. You can have full screen and then leave it for sequence. Okay, and now let's see how to control our PTZ camera. So here I have a PTZ camera. I have a button here called PTZ. I can I can do something known as area zoom. So whichever area I uh, draw a box, it will zoom to that particular area. Then, or I can click to center. Wherever I click, that will become the center of the screen. I can zoom out. So let's say I want to see some cameras car here. Just zoom that. Okay. Or I can zoom as far as the port area. So yeah, this is basically your PTC function. Easy to just monitor, right? I can, let's say I'm tracking this truck and just track, or I can use my mouse. I can slowly track like this. Okay, then event action. You can manage all the events. Whatever camera events are available, it is available in the VMS. If you have access control events will also be imported to VMS. Okay. You can create an action, action one. If let's say motion or analytics or someone crossed the line, or it could be anything, camera disconnected. If a particular event happens, what action to take place? So you can say I need a pop-up, or I play back, or go to a preset, start the recording, stop recording, or change the monitor layout, or send an email, or play a sound, or send a script. So all these functions you can do through SSM. You can have a pop-up of up to 4 monitors. So in the event option, you have a button here called show instant viewer, instant pop-up. You can have up to you can have up to 3 pop-ups, one, two, three. 3 pop-ups you can design, and you can customize where the pop-up should go. If there is a movement where there is a motion, you can say show the pop-up in monitor 2. So you're not distracted. Your main monitor is fine. You can say go to monitor 2, so you're not getting annoyed with a lot of pop-ups. Okay, then you can change the language. In case you need Arabic, you can change the language to Arabic language. And if you are using any other language that is visible here, you can also select that. All right, then quickly let's move through the functions. User rights available. Event action, by the way, you can create any event. If the server itself disconnected, you can send an email and so on. Okay. User, uh, you can control each user. You can have a setting whether he can accept events, whether he can control the PTZ, etc. Maintenance, you can choose in the SSM up to 1 year to keep the log, all the event logs. You can uh, change the auto password expiry, and you can take a backup. We will talk about licensing separately. Federation means if you have multiple SSM system, this is SSM one. Maybe if I have an SSM in Korea, if I have one in US, if I have one in UK, if I want to, let's say I have different SSM system across the different parts of the city, I can combine them using federation. Federation does not require license, but using SSM with cameras they require, but federation does not require. Then LDAP support, if you require, that is also there. All right. Now here you just need to understand one more point. You can add to the SSM NVR. I have here NVRs, or I can add cameras. If I add camera, that means I am going to record the camera. You see the red color dot, I'm going to record the camera. Then I need license. I need license. If I'm adding NVR, I don't need license because NVR is already recording. I'm just managing in SSM. So for that, no need to worry about license. If you're using NVR, no license. If you're directly recording on the server using, I mean, without any NVR, then the licenses will be used. Currently, 103 licenses are left. I have added 25 cameras. Now I will take server 2. Okay, so there was a question about PTZ camera motion. So if you have any motion detection in camera 1, you can trigger, if you want to trigger a PTZ, you can tell PTZ camera, let's say XNP, you can say go to certain location and then also change, go to a preset. You can choose which preset it should go. So based on any event, you can command a PTZ camera. Right. Then SSM has a search function. We saw a bit about it yesterday. It is about you searching for events of all your cameras. You can filter the event type by device, by camera, by alarm. And if you double click, the video will play on the right side. You can export, write some text, some knowledge. You can acknowledge the alarm here. And then you have advanced search. It's a metadata search. Yesterday we talked about it. I will explain again. So let's say I'm just going to fix this connection. Meanwhile, please take a break for 10 minutes and we will come back and catch up. I think we have completed 1 hour of session. Feel free to take a break. We'll catch up in 10 minutes. Okay, let's continue. Okay, all right. So, what else is missing that we will quickly cover? We have thumbnail search. Thumbnail search is you tell the system to create a snapshot every minute. So that is thumbnail search. Then we talked about, or then we can talk about our smart search. Smart search allows you to find out who entered in the area using metadata. Okay, say yesterday. So it will tell you who entered and who left, etc., based on the time that you choose. So this is metadata search. Then you have functions such as dashboard. You get an idea how many cameras are online, how many cameras are offline, how is your server performing, and so on. Then one point here, I have two servers, right? So there are some cameras in server 2, but I can see it. Even though I am logged in to server 1, I can see what's happening in server 2 because we use a feature called clustering. When you have more than one server in a project, why do you have more than one server in a project? Because each server you can record maybe 128 cameras or maybe 300 cameras. So if you exceed, if for a project with 500 800 cameras, you need more than one server, but they all belong to the same project. If you connect to server 1, you should be able to see what's happening in server 2. Okay, if an alarm happens in server 1, you should link to server 2, or maybe you want to monitor some cameras from server 1. Some of the entrance cameras are in server 2 and some critical entrance cameras in server 1. If you see them together, basically you should be able to access both the server as if it's one project. So that is a domain. Domain is all the servers in your project, and you can add all the servers by using the feature called clustering, right? Just click cluster and that's it. Both should be same version number, it will get clustered. Now, although right now, if you just for your information, I am logged into server. You can see my server IP, server 1.20. So I am logged into server 1.20, but I can still add cameras to server 4, 1.4. I can check the recording, how many hard disks are in 1.4. I can change the camera. I can add NVRs to 1.4. Even if I have more servers, I can manage everything from one central location, right? If you want to use this second server as a failover, maybe you don't want to add any cameras. It is a standby server. For failover to the first one, you can enable failover. That's it. So if the first server fails, automatically all the cameras will get transferred to the second one, right? You can also create priority. You can say which camera should fail over first, high priority, which camera fail over next, second priority. You can customize that. All right. So this is all about your SSM VMS. There are other functions. You can have event spot, which means you can create this monitor as an alarm monitor. So whatever alarm is occurring, it will get popped up here. Whatever movement, motion has occurred, whatever event occurred, that will become your alarm spot monitor. Okay. So it will keep changing, or you can put auto. So depending on the number of cameras, it will automatically take more number of layouts, right? Okay. So this is event monitor. On the right side, all the live events are visible. You can click and play back from here also. Playback. Okay. Okay, done. So now let's go to the theory part of the SSM VMS, how to design the SSM VMS for your project. Now decide whether you're going to use NVR. If you're going to use NVR, some of you attended yesterday's class on NVR. If you have NVR, any WiseNet NVR, if you buy any recording hardware from Hanwha, uh, right, PRN, XRN, then SSM is free to use, except integration and video wall. Everything else is free to use. You can have one, you can have two, you can have failover, no issue. All the NVRs will fail over to the second one, no license required. Here in this scenario, the recording is happening in the NVR, so there is very less load. That's why each server can handle 3000 cameras, right? Each SSM server can handle 3000 channels through NVR. If you have 4000, add one more, it will become 6000. We recommend not to exceed per domain 10,000 cameras, right? And you can connect 20 workstations per server. If you have 21 workstation, add one more server. Okay, just split the load. And each workstation, you can go up to 4 monitors, right? Each workstation, you can go up to 4 monitors. That's it. And each workstation, maximum 132 cameras you can see. Workstation, maximum 132. Okay, if you want to see more, just to do sequencing. If you need more monitors, add one more PC. All right. What is the recommended server spec? i7 16 GB RAM. Uh, for the operating system, you can use any 20 GB hard disk. If you have NVR, no need to worry about recording. Just take a client every two monitor, consider 2 GB graphics card, i7 16 GB. That will remain same. So whatever PC you take for SSM, i7 16 GB, if it is a client, you're connecting monitor to it, then you need graphics card. All right. Remember, SSM is free when you're using WiseNet NVR. Okay. What if you have a project with very few NVRs? You can use SSM and the client up to 128 camera in the same PC. No need to separate the PC. Just use say, one PC and add a client monitor as well as server. Okay, that's why Windows 10 is supported in both. Server can be also installed in Windows 10. Now let's say you have 9,000 cameras, but recording on NVR. Then you need one, two, three, each 3,000. So you need three servers. License, free license, 00 free license. You can download it online. It takes maybe 1 minute to download, just to put your details and get the license. Then we have SSM keyboard in case you need joystick. The model number is SPC 7000. Um, SPC. Oh, okay, it's better to type it. SPC 7000 keyboard joystick. Which touch screen? If you want a basic joystick, SPC I believe 200, you can use it only for PTZ control. Okay, done. Next is the integration. The brands which were not mentioned in the previous document is here. Pro 3000, Honeywell, Johnson Access Control, Gallagher, Siemens, WiseNet Access Control, Bosch Intrusion, and Intercom and so on. Okay, all right. In SSM, you can have unified map, cameras and doors in the same map. You can do that. You can unlock the door if you're integrating with an access control. All right. Then, okay, just watch this video, how to integrate to an access control. If you're using WiseNet access control, it is free. But the integration step is very simple. Go to external device, add a server, and then now I will be able to see all the doors from the access control PC or the server. Then I choose event, access event, granted or denied. If anything like that happens, I need a pop-up. Which camera? I need pop-up of certain camera, click, done. Now, let's say I show my card, I will get a pop-up immediately with the badge, card badge. What is this detail? What is the card number and so on. You can get it in SSM, right? Okay. If you have SD card recording and in case the server is lost communication, you can recover the data. We call it auto recovery backup. That feature is also available in SSM. Now let's look at SSM as if you don't have an NVR with you. You're buying a HP server or a Dell server. You want to install SSM VMS on it. You want to buy a SAN storage, maybe Pivot 3 storage or resilient storage or Infotrend storage, Promise storage, EMC storage. It doesn't matter. NetApp storage. You're buying everything third party. Only VMS software you want from Hanwha. In that case, we have a solution, same thing, install the SSM on the Windows PC, but here we charge you camera license. Okay, all the cameras will go to the server. What is the difference here? Here, the recording is happening on the server before it was happening on the NVR. In this situation, we charge license, and also the number of cameras per server will be different. It's not 3000 anymore. It is either 128 cameras for third party, all right, and everything else remains same. 20 client up to 2000. This is adjustable. This is okay. 4 workstation per monitor. And we have one specific, okay, we'll finish this first. So just to understand the difference, if you use NVR per server, 3000. If you don't use NVR, directly recording, maybe you are mapping to a network storage, SAN storage, 128 camera per server. Now, when it comes to licenses, even if you use multiple uh, multi-sensor, you need only one license. So here it is. Even if you use multi-camera, multi-direction camera, you need one license. If you use encoder, 16 channel analog to IP encoder, you need one license. What is the license model? 1, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. These are bundle license. Higher the bundle, lower the price. If you use NVR, 00 free license. If you don't use NVR, then you have to include the license per server. Okay. Now we recommend if your server is 128 channel, right? 128 cameras. We recommend not to exceed 128 channels, although use multi-direction. Okay. We will take an example. I will just do an example, just a quick short one here. Maximum per server 128 camera. If you use a 4 channel camera, 128 divided by 4, you can connect 32 cameras. Okay, and you take 32 licenses because each of the camera will take a load of 4 cameras. It's a 4 channel, right? That much of hardware resource, RAM, CPU usage will be taken as if it's a 4 camera. But license wise, you don't need 128 license. You just need 32 license. Okay, so this one point you should keep in mind. It will take 4 capacity of resource. It will take 4 space. It's like 4 people sitting in the car, but at the end, you just need one car, one driver, right? One license. Okay, now how to calculate licenses? Let's say you have a project. Take the simple example. You have 128 cameras recording. If you want failover, you have to take one more server. You have to buy additional 128 license. Okay, and the model number for the failover license is the same. There's no different special model. It's the same model you have to use for failover. Okay, so here I have two servers. The second server is acting like a failover. The first server is recording 128 camera. Okay, 128 camera. If the first server fails, all 128 camera will fail over. Run. That's it. This is n plus one. You can have maybe 5, 6 servers here and only one standby server. You don't have to buy again all the license. It's not like that. You need 128 license for that server only. Okay, it can take camera from any of the active server. Maybe you have here 80 cameras, 64 camera, no problem. If the server, if this guy fails, if this one fails, this 64 will get transferred here. Remaining there is 64, right? So it can take, even if the second one fails, the balance 64 will be used up. Okay, so from here 64 will be left. It will not be failover. So it supports multi server failover. There's no limit on that. You can have one more. Let's say you have one more server here, maybe 20 cameras. So if it fails, if any license is spare, then it will get failover. Otherwise, it will not. I hope you got this point. So if 64 camera here, if the primary, if this server fails, the 64 will get transferred. I still have remaining 64 license. So if the second one also fails, whatever 64 is on high priority, camera priority you set, those will get failed over. Now, for those customers who don't want to consider licenses, you can buy a Hanwha server, PRP 5000 or PRP 4000. They come preloaded with the licenses, 128 camera license. You don't have to buy separately. Just like NVR, you're buying a Hanwha server, it comes with preloaded license. All right. I hope you got this also. If you want failover, buy one more PRP. It will come with its built-in 128 license. All right, so next about integration. If you are going to integrate a project, you need a transaction license. It's called TS10 license. Only one license required for the entire project. And all the licenses are one time, lifetime. No, you can get free upgrade. There's no need to pay recurring fees, monthly fee or yearly fee. There's no such fees, no upgrade fees. So it is free to use one time. Okay. Transaction license. If you are going to integrate with any of the third party system, as many as your third party system, you need one license. Next is decoder. Decoder is for video wall. In SSM, there is a function called video wall. Here, I can control remote monitors. So for here, if you see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monitors on the wall, and I need to remotely control that. Okay, the word remote is very important. I have in this picture 1, 2, 3, 4 into 4, 16 monitors. I need to remotely control. I don't want to physically go to the PC and connect a keyboard and change, again connect a keyboard and change. I don't want to do any of that extra effort. If I want to sit remotely and control any monitor, maybe I will sit here and I can control what camera should go here, what camera should go here, what layout will change here, or I can change the entire layout with one click. Change the entire layout of all the monitors in one click. I can sequence all the monitors every 30 second, 10 second. If I want to have such a remote function of group of monitors, basically video wall is what managing monitor. You have too many monitors, you want to manage it, right? If you have one laptop, it's easy. When you have 20 laptops, you wish you had a software to centrally manage everything. What is being displayed, what is remote viewing software you require, right? Same way, this is a video wall management. You have multiple monitors in the project, you want to manage it. If you don't want this feature, okay, you can still use the client SSM console. You can install here as many as you want, up to 20 per server, no license required. So here I have a monitoring window. I can create one more monitoring window. If I have a second monitor, I just drag and drop. I drag and drop to the second monitor, right? So this client interface is free. Do not be confused about this. But if you want the luxury feature of remotely controlling a monitor from another PC, I am here at the bottom here, orange one, but I want to control PC number 4, PC number 2, PC number 3. I want to remotely control that, whatever monitors are connected, then you need a video over license, right? What else can you do? You can also do one more function. You can merge monitor here. I can merge one camera across multiple monitor like a video wall. I can merge one camera across 16 monitors like a video wall. If you want these two function, remote control of some other PC monitor, merging camera across multiple monitor, then you buy a license. Um, and the number of license is equal to the number of PC that you will remotely control. Okay, so here I have 4 PC to be remotely controlled. So I need 4 decoder license. Okay, maximum per PC 4 monitors. Okay, always remember this. And one of the way to remember that is if in the software you can have a pop-up function. Each workstation you can say which monitor to pop up. Up to 4 we can address. Okay, so we recommend up to 4. So anyway, per PC 4 monitors. So if you have 4 PC each with 4 monitor and you want to remotely control that, then you need 4 decoder license. Okay, otherwise you just install the client free to use, no need to pay any extra license. Okay, here I have 48 monitors. I want to control all of them from one PC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 PCs I have, so 12 licenses I need. If you don't want the last one to be remotely controlled, leave it. 11 PC you need, 11 license. Okay, I hope you got that. This is how you estimate the licenses for project. And now it's time to do some examples and then we can close. Oh yes, by the way, I forgot to mention. Uh, Here I talked about a Hanwha server, right? With 128 cameras. We have one exception, something new. We are going to make more, but 128, you can expand only this model to 328 cameras by adding a 200 pack license add on. Okay, by default 128 is free, but you can buy a 200 pack license and make it 328 for only this server. Okay, just PRP 5000, not 4000, not HP, not Dell, not third party, only this server you can expand. This is the current design. We are coming up with more options. It is still in the pipeline. You will hear from us soon. But as of today, if you buy PRP, you get built-in 128 license. If you want to add more camera, you can add more camera by adding 200 pack. Okay. Okay. Now let's take a project, 500 cameras, 2 megapixel. What is the bandwidth? You have to take it from device manager or toolbox. And you go to hanwha-security.com. Go to toolbox. camera, start new. Let's say I'm going to take a 5 megapixel camera. Okay, take, calculate, go to, okay. If those who are new, just go to our website, hanwa-security.com, put your mouse anywhere, go to toolbox, it will take you to this page. After that, make sure you're in network camera. Click on the filter button and choose a dome, or for calculation purpose, you can choose any dome, 2 mega, 5 mega, you can choose anything. I am going to select 5 mega today. After you select, click plus, add it. Once you add, again, go to network camera, take 500 cameras, you get how much bandwidth is required. Okay, let's do 30 days recording. 3000 bandwidth, quite high. So I'm going to check how I can reduce. Click on settings, scroll down, 5 mega is okay. Make it H.265 and 15 frames recording and continuous recording. If you want motion, you can keep it motion based recording, but otherwise you can use continuous recording. Okay, now my bandwidth is 1900 Mbps. Okay, 1900 Mbps, 500 cameras. Okay, now if you want to design SSM, use this NVR PRP 5000. Okay, even if you want to buy a HP server, Dell server, it's okay. Use this as a benchmark. Whatever PC you're buying, copy the spec of PRP. It is having, you can use i7 16 GB. This guy is having E7, E3, Xeon E3. Anyhow, just select this, click on calculate. You can find out how many, then again, click on NVR. You need 500 camera, right? So increase, you need 4 servers. So that's it. You need 4 servers and your bandwidth is you need 1900. Okay. Each server, there is a limit, 520 Mbps per server. Okay. So let me go back here. Here, 5 MP, I need 1900 Mbps. Okay. Now, how many cameras can I accommodate per server? 128. So 500 divided by 128. So I need 4. Okay, storage. We will see storage later on. Whatever storage is given here, you just buy from HP. You have 500, right? 600. Sorry, 600 terabyte. You buy 600 terabyte from Dell or some other third-party storage. Done. Bandwidth. Each server we recommend not to exceed 520 Mbps. So 520 into 4, 2080. What is your requirement? 1900. So you're okay. You're safe. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4 servers because I need each 128 camera. So I can, there is no 125 license. So you just directly buy 128 bundle, bundle each. Actually, you will be dedicating 125 per server, but you probably will buy 128 bundle into 4. If you want failover, add 1 server 5. Okay, don't buy additional 500. This is a common mistake. What is the failover requirement? N plus 1, right? Anyone can fail. So if this guy fails, only you need to fail over 125. So maximum license required, another 128 bundle. Okay, so total is 128 into 4 plus 1, 5. 640 license. Here 128 into 4, that is 512, and here it is 128. Total 640. Okay, this is 512, 128. N plus 1, any one can fail. That's why. Okay, now let's take PRP. Let's say you're buying from Hanwa PRP server. Okay, you can add a 200 pack license. Remember, there is a cost. It's not free. 128 is free, but 200 pack is not free. You have to. It's a very minimal cost per license, I think. If you consider, if you buy it as a pack, maybe $8-10 per camera, like that, it will come. So here it is 200 pack. So because I put 200 pack, each server can handle around 328. So you divide it by 328. I need two servers for 500 camera. Okay, let's say 5 MP, 1900 Mbps. Okay, why are you using PRP? PRP has got a built-in storage. If you go back here, or the best way is just download the PRP datasheet, PRP 5000. It supports up to 528 Mbps recording and 16 slot 10 terabyte. So 160 terabyte, right? So let's say you have 160 and your storage is 600. So you need this guy divided by 60. You need four servers. Okay. Although technically license wise you need only two, but storage wise you need four. So in this case, either you expand the storage with some external NAS or iSCSI, or you just buy four individual server. Okay, so I mean you have to take the highest side, because if you buy two server, you can only put 2 into 160 terabyte, only 320, but I need 600 terabyte. So in that case, I still need four servers. Okay, if I need four servers for 500 camera, I don't have to go for 200 pack. It doesn't make sense. I just go with built-in 128 license. Okay, let's for our example purpose, let's say I need only 300 terabyte. In that case, I need two servers only. Maybe you are recording in 2 megapixel. So in that case, you will need less number of storage. Let's say you need 300 terabyte, two servers is enough. Okay. In this case, what would you do? Um, Buy server one, server two, each can go up to 328, but you have 500 cameras, so 250 each. Each server you will put 250 camera. You still have some spare. Okay, that's it. You so total cost PRP 5000 into 2, then 200 pack license to 2. You have to, okay. If you need failover, you buy one more server 3 built-in license. Again, you have to buy 200 packs. So because if you don't buy 200 pack, it can only handle 128. If server 2 fails, only 128 will get transferred. So you buy another 200 pack. So make it support for up to 300 something. So total cost is equal to failover PRP 5000 into 3, 200 pack into 3. All right. All right. Now, the PRP, just like NVRs, we are not supplying hard disk. We are only mentioning what hard disk you can use. So for that, go to Hanwada Security, go to the main page, click on Data Center and Compatibility. Just put your mouse on Data Center, Compatibility. Select View, then PRP. You can check here which model is supported. This is PRP 5000. Seagate model number so and so for 10 terabyte is supported. Okay, you can take the price from supplier and add it to the server. All right, now back to the project. Let's say the same project has got control room with 20 monitors. How many workstations you need? Okay, let's take a simple example. Control room with 5 operators and 2 monitors each. Okay, so server wise, you just completed SSM server, PRP 5000, you have taken with failover 3, then plus 200 pack into 3. This is done. For the client, you need a PC, i7, 16 GB RAM. How many monitor? 2, right? So 2 GB graphics card. Okay, how many operators? 5 operators, 5 operators. Licenses, SSM client license. Does it require? No, none. This is the straightforward. Okay. Now, let's say you have a video wall, 6 monitors, 42-inch, and remotely to be controlled. That case, first connect the monitor to the PC, right? How many PC you need? How many PC needed for 6 monitors? Maximum per PC 4, so 6 by 4. I need 2 PCs. Okay, what is the spec? Spec required? i7, 16 GB RAM. You have 3 monitor per PC, so you can say 3 GB graphics card per PC. You need 2 PCs. Okay, because you're going to remotely control, you need decoder license called VD10L. You need 2 numbers. That's it. Your project is completed. What do you get out of this what do you get out of this decoder license? You can just revise this part. Remember this picture, you can merge cameras and you control remotely what should be displayed, what layout to change, what sequencing to be done. Remotely you can control for your video wall. If you don't want this function, just stick with the, if you don't want this function, if you don't want a remote control, you can put a keyboard and mouse to control, then just install SSM client console, no license. So your project is done. Okay, now let's take one more project, 1000 cameras without PRP and using HP or Dell server. Okay, go back to toolbox. What is the 1000 camera? How much bandwidth it require? Let me take 2 megapixel. Calculate, go to camera, 1000. Storage, 265, 15 frames. We are only worried about recording bandwidth, not about live at the moment. Recording, maybe continuous. 520 is for the recording. Okay, so I need 1689. Okay, 2 MP. Bandwidth, 1689. Quantity 1000. Okay, first, maximum cameras per server. If you use third party, if you don't use PRP, you cannot go above 128. Okay, how many servers required? SSM, where the manager will be installed, 1000 divided by 128 is roughly 8 servers. 1000, okay, 8. Okay, now bandwidth, need max 520 Mbps. Right, so you divide this guy by 520. You need 4, but channel wise you need 8. So this is not a valid calc. Okay, fine. Okay, max of this 8. So you need 8. Okay. Now, how to spec your server spec? Either Xeon E3 1275 or i7 16 GB RAM. Okay, that's it. How many you need? 8 from HP or Dell, whatever. External storage requirement. From here you can take 523 terabyte. Either built-in or external. You need this many. How many licenses required? Okay, 1000 divided by 8 per server. I need 128 licenses per server. So I will buy 128 bundle. So 128 into 8 total licenses. Customer needs n plus 1 failover. N plus 1 means n is 8, n equal to 8. So n plus 1 equal to, I need one additional, so 9 servers. How many licenses additional I need? Any one can fail, right? If any one fails, maximum 125 camera should be failed over. So how many failover license? Another 125 or 128 bundle. So total licenses 1024 plus 128. This is your project. Again, you do the same for operator. If you have 5 operators, buy 5 PCs. That's it. If you have a video wall and you want to remotely control the video wall, then you buy VD10L license 2. Is that clear so far? By the way, in the same project, maybe there is guardhouse. There is one PC with one monitor. What will you install? Video wall? No. You will install SSM client console, free license. You don't have to buy license. Install that. You give a user right, so you can access only some cameras. All right. So if there are any further questions, you can get back to me. How to calculate server bandwidth? So each server actually from the datasheet, if you go to the PRP datasheet, it says maximum 520 Mbps recording bandwidth. So the bandwidth for recording is dependent on what resolution you're recording. You may buy 5 megapixel camera, but you're recording 2 mega. So you put here 2 mega and 15 frames. So your recording bandwidth is for 1000 camera is 1689, right? So here, um, yeah, here I have 8 servers, right? Okay, maximum 520 Mbps per server. Because I have 8 server, 8 into 520, 400 and 4000 Mbps I can handle. But my project only requires 1689. So I'm within the limit. All right, so the session is completed, and if there are any questions, I would recommend that you post it in the chat window. If you have a project example in mind, you can post it also. I can do a quick example for you. So I'll be online for a couple of minutes.